It's time for our second ever weekly Q&A session, of which last week was actually pretty damn fun. I'm having a good time during these, so I'm curious to see what this week does bring as well. I should let you know that if you want to join in on these Q&As, or if you're even just wondering what it is, it's kind of the same format as a live stream where, you know, anything goes. You can ask whatever the hell you want. Doesn't necessarily mean I'll have an answer for it. But it's being fielded, these questions, from a very specific Discord section right here. So if you want to join it in, it's 100% free to do. There's a link to the Discord in the description below. And all you need to do is find the Cave video content section right here, and then scroll down to the weekly Q&A and find the most relevant week. And we'll post a new one actually at the end of this video. So it's just going to be first come, first serve. All right, next. Oh, also before we go into it, regarding the trading fee discount, I wanted to make a specific mention of this because it's been going actually really, really well, which is good to see because obviously most exchanges don't even offer fee reductions anymore. And well, you can get 10% off of all of your trading fees, limit orders, and market orders for the lifetime of your account with this link. I also have it in the description below of this video as well, and currently gives you 10% cash back, which effectively is 10% off of your fees, and it does it for the lifetime of your account. And because this has actually been going quite well, if even more people join it in, I'll have some bargaining chips to probably even get a bigger discount process for everyone. So that'll be pretty damn cool. All right, sweet. Let's jump into it right now. We'll start off with first the questions from the member section here on YouTube. These ones will be prioritized. Funnily enough, there's only one. There's only one for this week from Cousin Burley. He says, he's very, 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 very polite here. If you have time, affirm on the daily and weekly. Sure, man. All right, let's check this one out. I believe this is a stock, AFRM. Yep, there we go, on NAS. And I think he said daily and weekly. Let me just double check. Yes, daily and derpy. Okay, there we go. Daily uptrend. Obviously, this thing is very likely poised for higher. Long-term weekly. You know, long-term weekly, it's not the strongest chart of all time, obviously. There's been many things in the stock market that are making significantly new highs, typically in the technology sector, which this thing actually seems to be in. But, you know, the thing is that it is getting quite close to one of those big breakdown areas, which is always going to be a common pullback region. So there's actually two here that is close to, it's very close by. Let me just first go off this one and this one. So we do see that the weekly has actually broken out here. The trend is to the upside, as is the daily. All major moving averages positioned to the upside as well. So I do suspect that this one does have a continuation in the coming month and a half. Probably see somewhere around $68, perhaps a little bit of a short-term pullback right there. And then I would be looking for an extension all the way up to $84.5, $85. Very likely a greater pullback from $84.5 to $85, just by the nature of this being a massive breakdown region from many, many moons ago, back in 2021. So this thing, you know, the reversal looks real. I think it continues up. I would invalidate that if you trade anywhere below this month's low. But for right now, you know, the breakout very likely does continue here. All right, sweet. Let's get into now the Discord section. We have, let me turn this off. I want to see some names here. We have, hey, what's up, Colin? Good evening. Good morning to you, sir. Hope you and Elsa are doing well. Thanks, man. What's the most fulfilling thing you find that trading gives you? Wow, that's a really deep question to start this one off of. What's the most fulfilling thing that trading gives you? For me, it gave me a path to mastery, something that I could study every day and over time find myself actually getting better at, which was really fucking hard. So because it was so hard, it was very rewarding in that way. It's like to actually see yourself get better at something that you struggled so much with is a fun spiritual endeavor. And then also, of course, it has a financial consequence as well. And if you do master it, then, well, it can give you a bit of a living too, which is good. So for me, that would have to be it for me. Just the path to mastery and just that daily sort of practice, you know, and realizing that you're never going to be perfect with it, but you can always get better. And you know, and cool things can be done, and then that process can be transferred over to anything else. So, you know, of course, you know, I've done that with weightlifting, and I've also done that recently with boxing as well. You know, it's realizing that at first you're gonna fucking suck. I mean, you might have a little bit of success here and there, you know, beginner's luck and whatnot. Fair enough, happens. But over time, if you dedicate yourself to it, can give a lot back to you. And that's, I think, really what life is all about, is just trying to do that as much as possible. Anyways, I forgot to keep track of the time, so it is 9:22 here, so we'll start the clock now for 30 minutes. IW on 9 says, can you explain why open interest using in your TA core? What the fuck? How about correlation to S&P 500? I do not understand your version of English, sir. Can you explain why open interest using in your TA course? If you're referring to the technical analysis program, open interest, like why use it? It gives you an idea of how frothy the market is, basically. You know, when open interest is super high, you can expect some pretty big swings just because there are going to be leverage wipeouts. How about the correlation to S&P? It would be the same sort of idea, yes. But of course, when you're talking about traditional markets, you have options to be aware of as well. And so I would actually be paying more attention to those and like what is the most traded strike. That is also going to obviously include open interest, but I'd put that focus on options rather than actual stock. Anyways, Danny says, oh my God, this is a fucking wall of text, sir. I implore you to have some... I implore you to have some awareness here. Like, holy shit. Okay, I'll try to read through some of this, but I'm just warning you at the beginning, man. Like, come on. How do you manage future trading funding feeds that occur every 8 hours? You just deal with it. How do you manage it? You just fucking deal with it. Now, of course, you can employ strategies where you like jump out right at the end of, of funding, right before funding period expires, just so that you avoid it if you were going to pay. Or you can also do it on the other side as well. But a lot of the time you will see other people doing that too. And then that sort of premium or discount gets dissipated before you can even take action on it. So realistically, you just fucking deal with it, man. Up to 3%. I've never seen 3%. You must be trading some of the most highest forms of dog shit possible. You might see like 0.1% for Bitcoin during some pretty crazy moves. But yeah, man. Anyways, if fees are super high, sometimes it can be an impetus for a bit of a pullback around those funny rate periods, just because people are going to be jumping out. But unless you're trying to take advantage of that on very, very low term timeframes, if you're trading like on a daily, weekly, even a 4-hour swing, as far as like your charting time frame, these really should not be eating into your profits to begin with. This really only matters, in my opinion, if you're on very, very low term timeframes and trading for very small deltas between your entry and exit. Okay, then you go on to say, I'm not sure if I should create 3 to 4 strategies and scan and mark them and apply them in different altcoins, or is it better to focus on the big ones like Bitcoin and Ethereum? I always think it's better to simplify and narrow down. In this case, I only focus on Bitcoin, and I really only don't even execute 2 strategies, more than 2 strategies at any one time anyways. I'm sorry, but I cannot read the rest of this, man. It's too much, and there's too many people here. And then you come back again. Great. I've heard that it can be a game changing to work with mentor. What would my man, find a way that you can contribute to someone else, because obviously no one else is going to have unless you find fucking Mother Mary or Saint Mary or the Virgin Mary. You're not gonna find someone who's just gonna, give you their time of day with, nothing back. So find something that you have that they don't have, that they can't get for themselves easily, and provide that to them, likely for free, in exchange for a bit of their knowledge. Okay, again, wow. Okay, sir, I'm sorry, but we got to go to the next person, man. This is too much for one person. It's not really fair to other people. Maybe if we have time at the end of this, we'll come back to some of this. All right, Blockchain says, "What's up, Crown? How bullish are you on memes becoming bigger now that Trump is in?" I don't really think it matters so much that Trump is in or not. Obviously, they were going pretty damn well before he was there, but do I think things get crazier? I actually think that it probably takes a little bit away from the meme market, because if Trump has gotten in, I suppose now, it seems like he's going to be pulling back a lot of the regulations that legitimate projects were facing. And I think that probably makes more sense. If people are going to be allocating funds, they're going to be like, okay, well, if we don't have to worry about the regulations on like these DeFi things, for example. I'm not saying it's going to be DeFi. I'd rather go into this than fucking herpy derp coin. But memes seem to be the thing this cycle, and so I think that they will, or generally they will continue higher, the strong ones, if you want to call them that. But as always, it's a game of musical chairs with those, as it is with most altcoins and everything. I mean, it really is. So, that's just how I see it. Hardy says, "Hi, Karan. I would like to know when you used when you switch between log scale or linear scale." Okay, so what Hardy is referring to is just the scale over here. This is, well, actually, let me go to Bitcoin. It'll make more sense with this. Okay, so this is Bitcoin on log scale. Log scale essentially makes very long-term price action that travels in multiple X's rather than, just 10, 20%. Look visually pleasing in layman's terms. Here is what it would look like on linear or regular. It is literally just the price scale, not indexed to anything. So when do you look at log scale? I think it's probably best if you're going to be in the crypto landscape. Most things go absolutely fucking crazy and have these humongous percentage moves. And when I say percentage moves, I mean they move in X's, not percentages, even though percentages are X's. But for example, this is a 5 million% move. Like, that's just not going to make sense when you're looking at it on linear scale. So when you see humongous things like that, when you see even like 500% or this one 6,000%, it's probably better to go with log scale. I think in general, for most people and most purposes, just having it on log scale more often than not is going to be the right call. If you're trading Forex, if you're trading commodities, if you're trading many stocks as well, maybe not the techs, or the strong techs at least, then linear makes more sense. But when we're talking about cryptos, which have pretty high potential, I think log is going to make a lot more sense. Anyways, okay, let's move on to the next one. We have Nitro. He says, clever naming there. Hey, Crown, if interest rates continue to come down, the Fed kickstarts QA, and then M2 money supply keeps rising, why wouldn't Bitcoin continue to trend higher and for longer and ultimately ditch the 4-year cycle? I mean, you just gave a bunch of different fundamental reasons as to why we have the 4-year cycle, and then asked, what if we didn't have these fundamental reasons? Would it be different? It's like, obviously fucking yes. No offense. But yes, of course, those sort of fundamentals create cycles. And so if you change those fundamentals significantly, then yes, I would imagine there would be a different 4-year cycle. But for now, there's been no change to that in a very long time. And so we can't really assume that something's going to change until it actually fucking changes. Anyways, assuming these conditions remain, what would cause the 12 to 15 month bear market that caused 70 to 85% drawdown? Well, the drawdown is more of a function of Bitcoin's volatility, which is direction neutral. And that is why we love Bitcoin or cryptos in general, because they have tremendous potential, as we went over earlier, to have these massive moves to the upside. Whenever you have a massive move to the upside, you can have a subsequent massive move to the downside. One of the early aphorisms that my mentor taught me was, the way you go up is the way that you come down. So what do I mean by that? When you go straight fucking, let's pull up an example. When you go straight fucking up, like here in 2020 and 2021, then you go straight fucking down on the way down. That's typically what happens. So if Bitcoin didn't go up, 2, 3, 4, 5x in a cycle, then probably wouldn't have, or in some cases, much more than that, 10x in some cycles. It's not going to have as big of drawdowns, of course. We have Norik. He says, do you think we could see a double blow-off top similar to 2013? It's funny you mentioned that, man. I was actually looking at 2013 and saying, if there's any cycle that's similar to the one that we're looking at right now, it's 2013. Not that I think, well, I'll explain that point in a minute. Let me go on with your question. What do you think it would look like if so? Looking at the Bitcoin chart on the weekly to see 2013. Yeah. Okay. So let's go look at 2013 first. I mean, 2013, yeah, there's a lot of similarities here, big, massive drop off, that first big pop followed by a massive consolidation for many months, another big pop off around the prior highs, big consolidation again, and then the double bubble, It's not going to look exactly the same over here, but you got big drop off, boom, big pop, consolidate for a long time, boom, big pop here, and then another massive sideways consolidation. So, I kind of see the similarities there. I do think, though, it is a fool's errand to try to be matching a cycle to the next cycle. There can be similarities in the way that we look at pullbacks and whatnot, but ultimately, if you look at every past cycle, including this one, none of them have looked exactly the same. None of them. And that's the problem, or that's not the problem, but that is why I call it a fool's errand, because many people always want to just copy and paste the price action over here and then, they want to copy the price action over here and then paste it over here. That's never worked once. Obviously the returns are different to the upside. They get diminished every cycle significantly. I mean, in this cycle over here from high to high, it's we're talking about almost 3,000% returns. In this cycle over here from high to high, 1,200% returns. That's a lot different. And then the most recent one, 340% returns. So what's the point that I'm making? The point that I'm making is that, I see what you're saying. I think cycles matter. Yes. What I meant to say is the timing seems to really matter. That seems to be consistent and something that is fractal and applies to all of these prior cycles, but the shape that the cycles take is always different in the details, but they do generally go up. And I guess that's really all that I have to say about that. So yeah, do I think that we'll see a blow off top? I don't. I think there's two ways that this cycle ends. I think that either this cycle, continues up here into let me draw this out. We'll do a little drawing together. So there's two ways that I see this cycle playing out. I'm gonna get a lot of shit for this, but it is what it is. First way is that Bitcoin continues over the next 3 to 4 months into February and March. And okay, that's already way too far. Continues up over here. Yep, February and March. And then has a massive pullback and is done in, something like that for a long time. The other is we still get that massive pullback. Maybe it brings things back down to 80, 90,000 or something like that. And then Bitcoin does get that, double bubble-ish type thing. It makes a slightly new high in late 2025, followed by an even greater pullback. It's kind of two ways that I see this one working out as of right now, but obviously that can change. I mean, we don't even have a top yet, so I would probably hold off on any major comments until then. We have a lobotomization here, as someone has posted the exact same comment 3 times. So that's, I don't know, which one's worse? This wall of text or the same comment 3 times? Either way is fun. I'm having a little bit of fun. Please comment on the 5.3 theory cycle. I don't even know that cycle, and so I'm not qualified to comment on it, and you don't need to post it 3 fucking times. And when will XRP break all-time high? Probably never. I don't fucking know, man. XRP. Whoops. I mean, it probably does try in the next couple months here to retest these prior highs. Maybe it continues on with the trend. I mean, for what it looks to me, it's bullish right now. If it ever is going to have an actual try to the upside, this would be it. Over the next couple months, very likely test back around $2. Maybe it actually breaks to new highs from there. Who knows how high that could be? I would tentatively guess somewhere around $3. Anyways, moving on, we have Tron Jeremy says, good morning, sir. What's up, man? Could you please give us your thoughts on incorporating AI into trading? You can do it if you want. I guess by now it should be possible to let an AI model analyzing markets, kind of, but not really. And make it to build strategies. I mean, it's only going to ever know what humans already know. So if that makes sense, because humans have to program this thing, and they give it the parameters anyway. So it can maybe give you some. What I find AI very useful for is like compiling data and then organizing that data. But it still takes, for now, a human eye to look at it and discern. You can ask AI to optimize for certain data, but it can get into issues with overfitting and whatnot. But that's what I've found a lot of value in AI, in using AI. And I'm a humongous AI proponent right now because I fucking use it all day, every day. I'm talking to damn ChatGPT. So yeah, can you use an AI to model a strategy? If you can find an AI capable of doing that, I can tell you ChatGPT is not capable of doing that right now. It is capable, however, of organizing data and then optimizing for certain parameters. But beyond that, it lacks the capabilities at this moment. I'm sure that'll change in the next year or two. The Muzzle, aka David Pooh, he says, "Dear sir and sir, what's up, man? Why is Elsa scratching her snatch? It's itchy, I guess. It's got some treasure in there or something. And have you observed anything in regards to half moon to half moon cycles, to full moon to half moon? That is not something that I've studied myself. No, man. Could you please look at this ticker? Okay. I'm just going to copy and paste this one in and tell us when altcoin season. If I knew the answer to that. Because your what? Because your nuts are in the way? Yes, it's Elsa's humongous balls that are itchy. Okay, so this is total 3 minus tether and minus USDC, I guess. I don't know exactly what this chart represents, but whatever it is, I don't like it. Is it trying to put it in a low here? It is, but I would be looking for lower highs still. Trend remains strong to the downside. I could see this thing easily coming down to whatever the hell this pair of numbers is down here. So while short term it probably tries to rally, I think that rally does fail, comes down a little bit lower later. I will be wrong on that idea if you see it trade above whatever this number is here, not 0.5. All right. Let's see. Crypto Guy 41 says, what do you think MicroStrategy could get if Bitcoin went to 120,000? I mean, it's a pretty hypothetical question, I guess. Well, let's first look at MicroStrategy. This one was showing bullishness and breaking out before Bitcoin, so I'd imagine that it probably overperformed something that Bitcoin would do, given the same sort of move. Yeah, this one broke out back in October. Yeah, massive move in October, and then continued this month. If Bitcoin went to 120,000, okay, so that's how big of a percentage move is that from right here? 30%. Then would this thing go up 30% as well? What would 30% look like? I mean, I think that there's probably not a strong covariance here, but 460. Let's just see. What about for this month? For this month, we've seen Bitcoin go up about 24% from open to current price. MicroStrategy is up 40%. So actually, it should technically overperform. It's a little bit stronger, I guess. So I don't know. Maybe it does 50% from here. Again, I'm really pulling numbers out of my ass, by the way. So that'd be like $500. Maybe moves towards 500 if Bitcoin sees 120,000. Maybe. Generally, though, I think that this chart continues. It's really no more complicated than that. Yeah, next major areas of interest are going to be in the shallow 500s. So yeah, cool, man. Crypto Rect RD says, can you please review OM on the weekly and monthly time frame? All right, let's see what this highly esteemed technological breakthrough is doing. Mantra. Well, it is having a breakthrough, in fact. And what time frames are we looking? A weekly and monthly. Okay, we're already on a monthly. It's broken out and closed above prior all-time highs much sooner than Bitcoin did. This was back in July. This is, by the way, a 2020 shitcoin, so that is a signal of significant strength. I would say first, I don't think that this run is done. I don't think it's done just yet. Weekly volatility, which is what I typically pay attention to even be somewhat concerned about a major high being put in, is still at around 79 percentile. I'm going to see that get up to at least 90. Probably this one even sees 100, just like it did over here before this major high. So I think it continues up some more. That's really all I say about that, man. Maybe we can come with some extensions here, see what the next areas of interest might be. Perhaps, I guess, $3, and then you got 330, or sorry, I should say 337. Yeah, not bad. Okay, let's see. Gibson says, do you think XRM Monero will break out of its 2-year range soon? If XRP does and then Monero doesn't, that would be very sad for Monero. Geez, not only is it not following the rest of the market, it's actually selling off this week. Wow, that is just terrible. Okay, so it's definitely weak compared to most things in this market, but at least it does hold macro higher lows. So I'm inclined to say that at some point it probably will. But how much higher does everything else go before this thing even tries to mount a move like that? So percentage wise, I think this one's a big loser. Yeah. I mean, if anything, it's still in a downtrend right here. That's the problem. Wow. If it closes this month below 161, I'd have to be looking for this one to come back down. Next move would be down, not up. Yeah, man. I wouldn't even be considering even a retest of prior 2-year highs as long as this thing's below 180, 185 and a half. If you can see a monthly closure above there, okay, fair enough. Yeah, probably does try and move towards, prior highs, I guess. And at that point, you have a chance to actually break out. But for now, direction remains down. Very, very sad for that one. J. Cool Saw. I think I got that one right. Hey, Kron, could you look at the daily, weekly, and monthly for BNB? Sure. Let's check out this one. This one, contrary to Monero, has generally been strong, and yeah, continues to be strong. We're on the monthly time frame already. It has not closed on new highs just yet, whereas its penultimate breakout region, it is 693.5 on a monthly closing basis, closing above there, and this thing is going to go on a fucking tear. At that point, 850 and then 1,000 plus. It's probably what you're looking at, probably 1,200, if and when that does happen. But yeah, the monthly does look quite good. Weekly time frame, same thing. Need to close above the same level as well. And I think he said daily as well. All uptrends. Not even a hint of bearishness as long as you're above November the 4th low. Below there, okay, changed my opinion, and this thing comes back down much lower, below $400, I'd imagine. But for now, this thing looks like it's setting up for a real breakout. Pretty impressive. Let me take a sip of this water. My throat's already killing me. All right. Let's see. K3 says, hey, Crown, what's your take on Bitcoin monthly RSI making lower swing highs and lows as Bitcoin makes higher lows and highs each cycle? Do you simply view it as bearish and bullish divergence simply between previous cycle lows and highs? Exactly, yes. 100%. Bearish divergence defines when the pullbacks typically happen. Hidden bullish divergence typically defines when the macro monthly higher lows are being put in. Mo Ali says cycle tops maybe with Fibonacci. I don't understand. Is this a statement or a question? I'm not sure. I'm going to go with a statement. Red Banana says, how do you know when the price is entering a consolidation period and when the price is ready for a breakout? Price is ready for a breakout when you typically see, or it's actually easier to understand when price is entering into a consolidation period. Price enters into a consolidation period very, very often after hitting extremes on volatility, which is why I like to use the BBWP indicator. And of course, it's relevant to the time frame. So, if you see extremes over here, you're probably going to get a weekly consolidation. And that's exactly what happened. So you see extreme volatility. starting here, and then price ranges on the weekly, again relevant to the time frame for the next several months, actually like 6 months. And well, price is ready for a breakout after that range forms if it trades close to either the high, the top side of the range or the bottom side of the range, and then you actually see volatility start to once again expand from extreme lows, which we saw over here. So yeah, actually a really good question. All right. Joseph says, hey, Crown, I know you were talking about new altcoins like the outperforming older altcoins as well as Bitcoin dominance growing. What are your thoughts on desync, the bullish and bearish news? I don't fucking pay attention to news, man. Price points you would be looking for this overall cycle. Okay. Oh, God. I have a sneaky suspicion there is some Kool-Aid being drunk here. No, it's actually okay. Could be worse. Look, breaks above 31.5 cents. This thing's going to go to new all-time highs. Just need to see a daily closure above there. But for now, it's retested those prior highs. Very likely to pull back. It already is. Very likely to trade sideways for a little bit of time, maybe even a little bit more down. Could come down to like a quarter easily, a little bit below quarter, even like 23 cents. But ultimately, this thing is setting up for a real breakout, regardless of what the fucking news is. Look, the news doesn't fucking matter, man. It's the market cycle that matters. If things are going to be bullish, this is the time for it. Damn the news. You can have great news in a bear market, nothing fucking happens to the upside, and terrible news in a bull market, and it just continues to go up. The cycle matters more. Babbert says, can you chart CAS? How about just one? Give me price analysis midterm and long term. Okay, very, very polite as well. Let's see, CASPA. Multi-month long consolidation after a pretty massive move to the upside. Momentum remains to the upside. Volatility very low. I think that it will generally kind of trade sideways and up from here, but can't really get super excited about this thing until you start closing weeklies above 19 and a quarter. So yeah, sideways and up. Only bearish if it comes back down below your November lows. Until then, sideways and up. Short term, probably a try towards 18, 19 cents. All right. Mr. Joker says, hey, Crown, what is your estimation of best possible profitable trading bot in crypto land and traditional markets in percentage in a month? What is my estimation of the best possible trading bot percentage that it could give you back in a month? Sir, there's a million different strategies on a million different assets. I'm sure there's some fucking moron monkey who programs this bot to only press the fucking green button at 100x that just found the newest meme coin that also went up 100x, and he just outperformed everyone for the whole eternity of the world. Look, the best performing bot is gonna have is the bot that has good returns over a long period of time. Other than that, I don't know what to tell you, man. I think this question is maybe some naivete in there. Yeah. The best performing bot is going to be some fucking moron just who 100x's on the newest fucking shitcoin that happens to go also 1 million x. Like, that can happen. But look, different strategies, different timeframes, different assets, all of that's going to make a massively different percentage gain in a month. But look, if you think in terms of compounding at a high level, even if you were making 5 to 10% a month, I mean, that's fucking huge long term. Like, people really underestimate this. Marty says, can you check on the dwarf, please? Sure. I think this one we said topped a while ago, and so far it has topped, but I think it's also putting a low here. Holy shit. Yesterday seems to really be acting as a nice low. It came down like 50% already, by the way, too. Doesn't look like much on this chart, but yeah, that's 45% right there. Not bad. Holy shit. Just checking my phone. Oh my God, we're already at 30 minutes. Okay, I'll go a little bit more. Anyways, I think next move it might retest these highs at like 100,000 or a million to 1.1 million. But the highs for this thing are very likely extremely close, if not already in. So maybe one more retest towards those prior highs, maybe a slightly new high, But I actually don't think that things go too much further from there. But hey, I can always be massively wrong about that. If it does, the areas of interest to the upside would be 1.5 million, I think, or maybe that's 15 million, to 18.5 million, something like that. Yeah, if I'm wrong, you'll know that it because it'll close above the current highs. Yeah, pretty powerful. Crazy shit, man. So your put says, why are you gay? Sir, it's not about being gay. It's about what feels good. 21 Thumbs says, how do you feel about smart money concepts like FVGs? That sounds offensive. Order blocks, all that. Seems like most guys think they're some kind of genius. Peace. Yeah, every cycle, every year, there's a new like flavor of the year strategy. Before smart money concepts, it's a great name because it really makes me feel like you're a genius for following it. All it is price action trading. That's all that it is. And this is an ancient concept. And my mentor was doing this shit back in in the 80s. So what do I think about it? What do I feel about it? I feel, look, if you like it and it works well for you, continue to use it. For myself, I like to have things that are objectively defined, so objectively defined that a bot can do it, and a bot would not be able to trade smart money concepts, which is really just a commandeered style based off of price action trading. So yeah, I'm not saying that it doesn't work. I mean, I've seen some people make it work, but I personally prefer ways that can be automated, not ways that I have to be like, is this the FVG? Is this the order block? Where does it start? Where does it end? I don't know. Yeah. Audi Matic Attack says, I'm new, using your quant automation course. Awesome, man. And wondering if you're trading, I think you mean Quant Prime now. And wondering if you're trading Bitcoin. I am. Should you, oh, no, sorry, it's not for me. Should you keep a balance of both on your exchange account to keep the bot working? If you're trading Bitcoin versus Tether, should you keep a balance of both? So you mean Bitcoin and Tether to keep the bot working correctly? Like you need Bitcoin to short, obviously, and Tether on hand to long, correct? No, sir, you really need to read the contract specifications if you're going to be trading. So the bots, especially if you're using crypto exchanges like Blowoff, Bybit, these sort of things, I don't even think, well, maybe you can trade spot, but you can't short on spot anyways. So this has to be done using futures contracts, whether that be actual futures or perpetual futures, which you're probably using. You're probably trading Bitcoin versus Tether perps, in which case you only need to hold the underlying, which is Tether, in order to put on margin positions. Definitely read the contract specifications for whatever the hell you're trading, because I don't think that you understand, or perhaps I don't understand. Could be the case as well. But if it is what I'm thinking of, because I can't really think of any other situation where this would make sense, then yeah, you'd only need to hold Tether, and you can both long and short just using Tether. You don't need Bitcoin unless you're trading the inverse Bitcoin perps, in which case you'd only hold Bitcoin, not even Tether. And look at Crow. Okay, it sounds like a command. Long term, absolutely dog shit. Short term, probably gives another try towards 20 cents. If it can close above 20 cents, maybe you get a pretty big move towards 35 to even 50 is possible. But one thing before the next, definitely a weaker thing overall. Just, yeah. Hit that region, pull back, working off these extreme conditions. I do think it probably will break out here. You probably will see this thing trade at least 33 to 35, and then yeah, maybe even 50 from there. All right, cool. Rules Crypto says, can you give an example of a strategy that uses the HPDR bands and is for trending moves? No, because if you're going to use the HPDR bands, which is a range and probability based indicator, you are inherently not going to be, it's not going to be the best thing for trending moves, because it is telling you about the probabilities of where ranges are likely to end based off of historic returns, which is antithetical to trending moves, which literally continue on and on and on and on. This would be best used for a scalping sort of strategy, not a trending strategy. unless if you're just trying to find, like, I guess a good entry. Maybe you could maybe you could enter on the HPDR bands and then use something else to take profit, and just whenever it hits like a super low level, whether it be like the 61.8 level or the 78.6 level, and a general uptrend, maybe that's like a buy, and then you can play the trend from there. But I'm just speculating here. Yeah. Okay. The dwarf is back. Okay, I think this is just numbers. Rect 101 PS says, "Hey Crown, heard you mention a couple times you see a peak at the end of Q1, but previous bull markets have ran about 1,000 days, putting top in around October 2025. Can you explain? It's going to take way longer than a video like this to explain the reasoning behind it. I'm still waiting for the right time to drop a video on that, but price action's actually been interesting this past week, so I didn't really have a reason to drop it. So perhaps this next week, if things do quiet down, I'll save one of those days for that." TX Sig Epic says, "Thoughts on," okay, how about just one? I'll do JUP because I actually have that one on my list. Jupiter Exchange. Been watching this one. Okay, can we load the damn chart? Maybe, yes. Yeah, constructive chart here. It's not the strongest thing of all time. I mean, the strongest things are making new all-time highs, but it's trading back around the overall weekly range highs at 130. I do think it's going to probably push on through there. Probably next week if I had to guess, but still would like to see a closure above 130. At that point, this thing should retest prior highs and make new highs. I generally think that this thing is ready. Daily time frame, short-term bullish as long as you're above yesterday's low, which is 103. Below 103, okay, yeah, this thing might fall back down to like 90 to 91 cents, and then it's back to the drawing board on this. But for now, I think most things are setting up for actual breakouts to follow Bitcoin. AC says, INJ on the daily and weekly and monthly. INJ. Going overtime here again. Very similar chart to the one that we just looked at. I mean, I don't even know when the hell I even looked at this thing last, but apparently I have it charted out. I'd say the same thing. I think short term it probably pops back up towards $28, maybe even 29 3/4. I wouldn't get too excited about this thing as long as you're below 32 though. Above 32, this thing very likely trades back, towards these prior highs. Long-term chart, pretty good. Does hold macro cycle higher lows, so I think that it likely does pull through here. I'd generally be bullish on this thing as long as it's above, again, yesterday's low. Pretty simple one right there. All right. Nick says, "Sir Crown, what's up, man?" Very formal. "How do you envision the structural pattern of Bitcoin's peak for the cycle?" No idea. No peaks have looked the same. We've seen double bubbles. We've seen just straight shot up in 2017. We saw some sort of double top in 2020. Maybe it's a peak and then followed by a big pullback and then another run up, but a lower high. I don't know. None of them have looked the same, but I think we're also running out of different ways to look at a peak. Cookie Munster says, "Bonjour, Mr. Crown. What's up, man? Like your vids very much. Thank you. Kind of daily routine while taking breakfast. Awesome, man. Miss a lot of Elsa's doing the dishes and saying hi at the beginning of your stream. Yep." "Where will Bitcoin likely bottom out in the next bear market based off your experience with the asset?" Without seeing the high first, no fucking idea, man. No fucking idea without seeing that. I need to see the high first, and then we can start to talk about potential pullback targets. Completely depends upon how high it gets first. I would say I don't think Bitcoin's going to be going below 50,000. I think, but again, I wouldn't be willing to really call anything until we at least get like a macro cycle high confirmed. So that'll just take time, man. Six to First says, "Hey Crown, what's the accumulation distribution indicator looking like, and why have you not covered it in the last 2 months?" This was the exact same question that I got last week, and I have the exact same answer, to be honest with you. Well, first off, I haven't been covering it, or I didn't cover it at the beginning of this month because it really only matters at the end of the month, like the day before it closes, because it's kind of like it's using the most recent volume data to feed into it. So it's similar to like a moving average in a way. Like it can look multiple different ways during a period. So during the whole month, it can take many different forms, but it only depends what it closes at the end of the month. And honestly, I just think it's been a more difficult read this cycle, and for that particular indicator, I found other things a lot more obvious. So I've been focusing on those ones. Like I'm not gonna bring in something that's like more subjective in this case, the accumulation distribution indicator, than other hard data that we've been looking at, particularly with monthly returns, monthly statistics, monthly particular days, and all these sort of things. And also cycles as well at this point. Globally, or says, hey, Crown, what's up, man? Could you please, Crown in all capitals, could you please look at URA, uranium ETF? Okay. Let's see. I think we need to shut this off soon. The reversal is real. It has an uptrend here on the monthly, and I do think that it will trade higher. It's hard to love shit like this. I do think it'll trade somewhere around like 37.5, $38. Maybe see a closure above there. Maybe it breaks out significantly higher towards 60-ish. But take it one step at a time. This is going to take a long time anyways, monthly. Bullish as long as you're above September's low. I'd generally be looking north here, somewhere around this region at least. Something like that. But not the strongest thing of all time. Quad says, hey, Crown, as someone who is now several years along the journey of technical trading and am now starting to see the hard work pay off, awesome. I wanted to ask you, what do you think was the main aspect that changed in your own trading that flipped you from making losses to making consistent gains? For example, was it simply having a solid, successful plan and sticking to it? It really was, because that was the mindset change, as you go on to say. Those things are the same. It was the mindset change that, hey, I will never be able to, if I only use my discernment to enter into trades, so meaning I'm only trading, what's the word I'm looking for, discretionarily. I can never be, I know that I can never be perfect. One, because that is a truth. Like, even if you play out your setup all the time, you cannot be perfect, obviously. And then two, there is going to be an extra degree of uncertainty because I don't even know if I did my analysis right, because there's no way to standardize for that. So that was a mindset shift, which led to just having a very objectively defined trading plan. That is the biggest shift. And I think that's really what solves, I think having that plan solves all of the other issues. So they're all related to each other, but that is the antidote to that plan anyways. At least that's kind of what I got from it. For example, is it simply having a solid success? Yes. Do you find it's easier to accumulate wealth once you pass a certain value in your portfolio? The old saying goes, it's your first million is the hardest, right? I think so. I think your first 100,000 is the hardest, honestly. It's easier to accumulate once you have a greater number, but at the same time, you really shouldn't be risking. You're going to be risking more as your net wealth grows, but but that number should be less percentage wise of your total net wealth, if that makes sense. So it's like, instead of trading $1,000, you're going to be trading $10,000, but instead of having, $50,000, you have like $200,000. Maybe not those numbers, but you get the idea. McNaz says, what exactly could happen to make you change your stand on top happening Q1 or possibly even late Q4? If it doesn't happen, I'm not, look, I'm happy to change my opinion. If the market proves me wrong, that's fine. It's okay. It's not gonna be the first time I've been wrong about something. It's okay. If it's wrong, it's wrong, man. That's a part of trading and investing. Rick Giant Slayer B says, do you recommend tracking your alts in their Bitcoin pair only or also in USD? I think if your goal is to make the most actual money possible during a bull market, then you look at it versus Bitcoin pairing, because Bitcoin is the index. You can always somewhat less riskily hold Bitcoin. But if the altcoin is outperforming it, if it's actually in an uptrend versus its Bitcoin pairing, then that's going to be a better do. Wizlax says, whoa, it's a long one. All right. I think we'll end on this one, honestly. Wizlax says, Oh, thanks, man. I appreciate that. From 2019. Fuck yeah. Mixed bag of questions. What method do you use to keep track of your trades and returns? That would be my bot. My bot does that for one, and then obviously, your account equity is gonna tell you. Or the MWRR. I'm actually not even familiar with what that means. Yeah. I think the issue here is, or the miscommunication here is coming because perhaps you have like all of your stuff jumbled in one area. I do not. I keep all my accounts separate, so all of my bots have their own specific. I have two. I mean, so it's not a ton, but they all have their specific P&Ls and what they return. And then for my long-term investments, those are in their own accounts anyways. So it's pretty fucking obvious what it is. Last video you mentioned that it's beneficial to set up a company for trading. Now you're not a tax professional and none of this tax advice. How would you structure that? Different company for different trading brokerages, or just one to encompass all? I mean, how many different brokerages are you on? Like, Jesus, man. I think one is fine. Any particular state that you recommend that's beneficial? I like Wyoming. Just because you can do shit online. Other than that, the general advice that most professionals will give, which I am not one, and this is not advice or tax advice or anything like that, is to incorporate in the same state that you live in. If you live in the States. Tesla, do you see a pullback anywhere in sight? There's always going to be pullbacks on shorter term timeframes, but if you're on the the weekly, the monthly, I mean, I think this is it. I think if it came back down to 285, that'd be really, really nice, but I wouldn't be counting on it. Maybe it does. If it was going to happen, it probably happens this next week. But generally, this thing, I think, trades higher into the end of the year. So maybe short-term pullbacks, maybe you get 285 or 280-ish region, but I wouldn't be too more aggressive than that. Sammy Paradise says, when will you be bringing back the Call of Duty? I've been playing a lot of Divinity Original Sin 2 recently, but I've just been doing it by myself. I don't know, man. I kind of want to bring them back. I also kind of don't. I don't know. Anthony Periwinkle says, hi, sir. Could you please look at the weekly of coin? Actually, I hold this one myself, so I'm happy to look at it. Very similar chart to the last one in the short-term correction. Popped back down, filled the gap. Popping back up here. I think, again, generally by end of year, this thing trades higher, maybe close to the 350, 365 high. I think it makes new highs next year. Only way I'd get bearish on this chart at all is if you see this thing come back down below 240 for like a higher term time frame type stuff. Bernardo says, will you release a new version of It's Only Just Begun or any of your musical hits? Those always come in the moment, so I can't really prepare them, to be honest. But I'm sure it'll come out at the right time with the right combination of caffeine and lack of sleep. Bitcoin Buddy says, hey, Crown, been watching you since you had like 5,000 subs on YouTube. Fuck yeah, man. You look at Doggy Bitcoin weekly, monthly, and why not daily? How about, well, let's just see. I think we'll end on this one. I know I said that a few times, but now it's been close to an hour rather than 30 minutes. Bad. Not even following my own rules. Look, just like the US dollar chart, I like that it makes higher lows from cycle to cycle. Do I think it trades up here? Short term should pull back. It could pull back significantly down to like 320. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to, but it easily could. And then later on trade back up towards, 630. 700 plus. But I don't know when I charted this thing out, but the LARP lines seem to be playing out, kind of be saying the same thing here. So perhaps short-term pullback, but the monthly is bullish. So yeah, it could very easily come back to like 350. So yeah, okay, we got through most of them. There's still a lot more. Again, if you want to get priority on on these questions, well, there's not much competition right now. You can find it in the join section over here on YouTube for the weekly Q&A priority group. And then I will post another. I've actually already posted another one for this, and I will actually post the next weekly one for right now. So let's do it together. You can see it right here, right now. Okay, and let's do a new post. All right. Wait, that's not what, hold on. November 17 Q&A. Nice. And then boom. And let's lock this last one. And that will do it for this week. This has been a very fun session yet again. Some interesting questions, some really good questions too. And we'll come back next week with the same thing. So yeah, as always, wish you the best. Take care and see you next time.